Oh my god, I didn't see you there. Hello and welcome to The One by Kiera Cass, the last book in the Selection trilogy, and there are no further books. Everybody is lying to you. Okay, a quick recap before we get into it. Book 1. 17-year-old American singer entered the Selection, a contest in which the prince of the North American country of Ilya will pick his wife. She was not into it at first, as she was heartbroken over a recent breakup with her former secret boyfriend. However, she started to like the prince. Her former boyfriend showed up. She has to decide who she wants now, okay? Book 2. After an exhausting journey where at first America and Maxon were like, let's get married, then let's not get married, let's fight all the time, let's see other people. Her former secret boyfriend Aspen, again in secret. Maxon can't know about that. And Maxon seeing Chris, another contestant in The Bachelor. America being almost kicked out by the king for criticizing him on national television. America has decided she now really does want Maxon and she wants to be a princess. The games have begun. Let's catch ourselves a prince. Amazing. Now I can edit and see my body and hate myself. Thank God I need to get another book for my tripod book tower. Okay, so currently still in the running in the selection are 4 girls out of 32 in the beginning. There's America, our main protagonist, Celeste, a famous rich model, and a seductive, cruel girl boss, and my personal favorite. Chris, America's biggest competitor and the people's favorite, and Elise. Her thing is that she has family in New Asia and they're at war with New Asia, but now Chris is just kind of there. We open the book on a rebel attack because of course we do. They throw bricks into the window. Guys, what are all these guards doing all day? Jesus. Nothing happens, but as America returns to her room, she finds a letter from her older sister, Kenna, who had just had a baby, and America is like, oh my god, life outside of the palace is slipping me by. I should have been there. It's time to end the selection. I need to catch Maxon soon. So she and her mates hatch a plan. This series of events is known as the red dress scene, and an utter embarrassment to the planet, and I only have read it while squinting and holding it as far away from me as I could, because if not, I might have burst into flames. America shows up later for dinner in a rather scandalous red dress, basically underwear, and all the girls are looking at her all sideways like, America, what the fuck, you whore? But Maxon sees it and he drops a fork. Later he comes by her room and she tries to seduce him. Sliding my hands down Maxon's arms, I guided his fingers to the zipper on the back of my dress, hoping that would be enough. His hands lingered there for a moment and I was seconds away from just asking him to unzip it when he burst out laughing. Yes, he laughs in her face, slapping his knees and everything. And then he leaves. Cool. The next day, America and Maxon meet, and Maxon is like, America, you funny little slut, this is not gonna work. So that my father likes you, we really need to make you the people's favorite, because you're extremely unpopular with the people right now. He is being such a little whiny bitch in this book. And he is so lucky he comes with an inheritance. America is awoken in the middle of the night and led downstairs. Guess who came over in the middle of the night for some tea time with America and Maxon? The Northern Rebels. Now the Southern Rebels are the evil murderers, and the Northern Rebels just look for Gregory Elia's diaries. 2 rebels have showed up to have a talk. But it turns out they are no ordinary rebels. No, they are the leaders of the Northern Rebels, and their names? August Elia and his fiancée Georgia. Yes, and Elia, a direct descendant of Gregory Elia. So here's the historical sitch. Gregory Elia was the first king. toppled democracy, crowned himself, and invented the caste system. All around evil guy. He had 3 children, married his daughter off to the king of Swendway. His son Spencer died, and his other son Damon inherited the throne. Tragically, Damon passed away, and his wife, the queen, ended up marrying Gregory Ilia's nephew, Porter Shreve. So therefore, Maxon and all the monarchs after that are Shreves, not Ilias. Well, it turns out Gregory Ilia's other son, Spencer, did not die at all. He did not agree with his father and did not want a crown, so he fled to the north, where he couldn't be found, and started the rebels. August is his great-great-grandson and a direct descendant from Gregory Ilia, so technically has more of a claim to the throne than even Maxon. Revolution? He does not want the crown. Furthermore, the northern rebels don't even want to topple the monarchy. They want to keep it. No, what he wants is an end to the caste system, and they hope to align themselves with Maxon's future reign in 7 years when he turns 25. They hope that Maxon also wants to end the caste system, and Maxon does. They say the southern rebels are all evil jerks who pretend that what they want is to free the country and give power back to the people, but in actuality they are just bitter meanies. The northerners are ready to immediately stop all attacks on the palace and to fight off the southerners as good as they can. And they want nothing in return but Maxon's commitment. And how does he show this commitment? Well, marry America. You would think this wouldn't be as much of an issue. But Maxon completely flips out, and for some godforsaken reason, he's all like, "You don't get to choose my wife. That's my choice. I can do what I want." America's also mad. I am a person with feelings and thoughts, and not just your object to trade in, okay? The rebels are a bit annoyed, rightfully so. Ugh, rich people. But the rebels say that if America and Maxon don't work out, they have another girl in the 3 that are still upstairs that they also would consider one of their own. Yes, one of the other girls is a secret rebel, but they won't tell him who it is. Georgia, August's fiance, tries to calm America down and basically tells her what the special lovey-dovey snowflake she is, and oh my god, you're the grandest and the bravest, and we know you save your maids, and I know you tried to save Marley, and you are so great, and oh my god, you didn't even want to be a princess? That's so cool, America. You're such a different breed. You would be the best queen ever. And America's like, oh god, thanks. You really think so? Yeah. America, you are magnificent. There has been no one like you. So, America is cool with it all of a sudden. The 2 couples part ways. In the women's room that day, the queen gives the girls a good scolding, saying, "Hey guys, the vibe with you is just really off, and fuck my son, he will choose who he will choose, but it has nothing to do with you, and you should really be a sisterhood." Maxon comes to talk. Of course they fight, that's all they do. "You told me you didn't trust me. The other day you made a point of humiliating me, and yesterday you basically said I was an embarrassment. And not a few hours ago the suggestion of marrying me sent you into a rage. Forgive me for not feeling too secure in our relationship right now. You forget that I've never done this, America," he said. "You have someone to compare me to. I don't even know how to have a typical relationship, and I only get one chance. You've had at least 2. I'm going to make mistakes. I don't mind mistakes. I mind the uncertainty. Most of the time I can't tell what's going on. We keep doing this. We get close and then something happens and it falls apart and you never seem to be able to make a decision. If you want me as much as you've always claimed to, why isn't this over? Because half the time I've been sure you love someone else, and the other half I've doubted you could love me at all. Like, I haven't had my own reasons to doubt. You treat Chris like she's heaven on earth. Well, it hurts me to see how quickly you shut down. Where does that even come from? I don't know, but maybe you should stop thinking about me for a while." "What does that mean?" There are 3 other girls here. If you're so worried about your one shot, you might want to make sure you're not wasting it on me. Christmas comes, and in the hall, America meets the king, who hates her. Mood. He says, Miss Singer, I heard you're the only contestant still left that receives payment for being here. You should really stop that. You look greedy. Or don't you love my son for who he is? So, America gives up her selection money. As if I haven't suffered enough. While America reads a book in a nook in the hallway, she gets to witness one of Chris's and Maxon's dates, and they don't realize she is there. Maxon, can't we go on a real date? Somewhere outside the palace. I recognized Chris's voice immediately. I wish we could, sweetheart, but even if things were calm, that would be difficult. I want to see you somewhere where you're not the prince, she whined lovingly. But I'm the prince everywhere. You know what I mean. I do, I'm sorry, I can't give that to you, really. I think it would be nice to see you somewhere where you aren't an elite, but this is the life I live. Would you regret it? For the rest of your life it would be like this, beautiful walls, but walls all the same. I know your feelings for me run deep, I feel it every day, but what about the life that comes along with me? Do you want that? Max and Shreve, you make it sound like it's a sacrifice for me to be here. Each day I'm thankful for being chosen. Sometimes I try to imagine what it would have been like if we'd never met. I'd rather lose you now than have gone a lifetime without this. Her voice was getting thick. I need you to know, I'd want you without the beautiful clothes and the gorgeous rooms. I'd want you without the crown, Maxon. I just want you. Maxon? Yes? I don't think I want to wait anymore. I peeked around and saw the back of Maxon's head as Chris's hand slid just barely into the neck of his suit. Her hair fell to the side as they kissed, and for her first, it seemed like it was going really well. Maxon let out a sigh that was half triumph and half relief. When can we do that again? She asked quietly. How about in as much time as it takes to get from here to your room? I knew it was close to Christmas, but I didn't know it was ho-ho-ho season. What is this? How dare you? How dare I? Okay, how dare I? I spent the entire last video trying to blame Chris for stealing our man, for stealing the money that is mine. Blaming her for stealing this wheat thin of a man. Maxon is the issue in all of this, okay? He just keeps whining on about life isn't fair for him and his lack of experience. But what about poor Chris? You know, she genuinely loves him, and he doesn't. But he still makes her hopes and promises like this bullshit, okay? She said she only wants to kiss a man she's engaged to. I'm Team Chris now. During a TV news interview of the girls, the king comes in and makes a surprise announcement. The Southern rebels, in an attempt to end the selection, which I have no clue why they want that, have now started a fun new project. They started killing twos with an intent to cast 3, 4, and 5, aka the cast of the selection girls, later, to turn the public against them and the selection. Just for fun, I guess. When America asks if she has any messages to the people, she tells them to fight and that the Southern rebels are bullies. Maxon is impressed by her and is certain that showing her true character like that will really help her popularity among the general public. I don't know why, because the people didn't really like when she tried to help Marley. So the two make up and decide to have a date the next day. They meet up after breakfast, and as the two of them walk to the movie theater, it starts to rain. And instinctively, the two decide that what they need to do when it's pouring outside is to go to the roof and have a quirky moment together. They talk their stuff out. He thinks his father's hiding the death toll of civilians from him. She tells him his dad is being a dick to her, and then they dance and kiss in the rain. In that moment, America realizes that she honestly and earnestly loves Maxon. I thought she noticed this before, but apparently she did not. As they leave the roof, the king catches them and he is angry and whisks Maxon away to do some work or whatever. The next day is quite boring, and as America goes to the library to find a book to read, she finds a crying Celeste. It is now time for Celeste's redemption arc. On one hand, Celeste is my favorite contestant, and I dream of a reality where I too am a contestant in the selection, and me and her are going to have a forbidden enemies to lovers romance. Just like Maxon, she comes with money, but unlike Maxon, she comes, well, without the whiny little snot that is Maxon, who watched 500 Days of Summer and was probably like, oh my god, Tom is such a victim. Summer is such a bitch. However, it is mentioned in book 2 that Celeste hits her maids. If you want to mess with the other contestants and make them kick themselves out, then sure. Okay, sure. You know, you do you, girl boss things, but maids are innocents. And, Celeste. We forget that because America forgets it too. Celeste has with her a magazine that now puts America at the top of the popularity poll with the general public. Celeste breaks down telling America that even though she is rich and she is pretty and she is a model, she feels she only has her looks, and soon enough she will be a has-been. She needs the spotlight, so she wants Maxon. The book is short, so just like that, Celeste Newsom is a good person now who's over Maxon, because in a sapphic moment with America, she realizes that she doesn't need a man to get what she wants. Around the corner, she meets Aspen and asks him for help. Hey bitch, me and Maxon need to get out of the castle to meet the rebels, because the king is hiding information from us. And Aspen is like, ho, I got you. So they organize that America and Maxon dress up as palace guard, and they're going to sneak them out while they're pretending to do shopping for the kitchen. They do that and arrive at a seedy part in town where they meet August and Georgia in a warehouse with some other skinny dude. Georgia and August say that about 300 people died, and they are having problems with fending the Southerners off because they have no guns and no training, unlike the Southerners. Maxon says, however, that he can't really help them because if he gives them that, then that's treason or whatever. As they leave, their car is being swarmed by aides, clearly trying to rob them. In the altercation, one of them recognizes America and tries to shoot her. A fight happens and Maxon helps America escape over the roof. She runs far away and hides in an alleyway, where she realizes that she has been shot in the arm. Girly things. America is found 5 minutes later by the others. This skinny guy died during that altercation. He sacrificed himself for them. Great guys. I honestly felt like that whole conversation could have been a phone call. Back in the castle, they have to take care of her bullet wound. And because they can't call the doctor because he responds to the king, what do you mean there's no more eyebrow pencil? In this economy? The doctor responds to the king and he can't know about that, so they go and get her maid Anne to stitch America back up. And well, they go and fetch Anne. Aspen and America and Maxon are alone in Aspen's room. Now mind you, Maxon knows America had a former love, but he doesn't know that it's Aspen. Maxon looks around Aspen's room, and at the door he sees a note that he doesn't know, but that America wrote for Aspen. I'll always love you, I'll wait for you forever, I'm with you no matter what. And Maxon is like, oh, that is so lovely to have someone love you so much. Are you still together? And Aspen is like, no, but she is forever in my heart. And Maxon is like, you can't let that kind of love go. You should write to her. And it's all awkward. And then Aspen leaves. Anne comes and they clean and care for the wound, and Marley is there to assist because she works in a kitchen, and it's apparently quite painful, and everybody can hear her scream outside. Jesus. The dick can't be worth it. The next day during a breakfast, it is announced that there is going to be a televised tea party, and each one of them is supposed to invite 2 friends, and it's a sneaky little test to show what kind of connections they have. Later, Aspen comes to her room and they have a heartfelt moment. My heart is forever tied to you. And he wants to tell her something, but the words just won't come out, so he leaves. For the tea party, America invites Princess Nicoletta of Italy, which is not only a good look because the king really wants an alliance with Italy and it hasn't worked out so far, but also because the other friend she invites is Georgia. Now, nobody knows Georgia is a rebel, and America is a little criminal mastermind. So she introduces the two of them to each other and says, hey, the Italians want the caste system to end and you guys need weapons. Now, we can't give the rebels weapons because, you know, Maxon's the prince and everything, but maybe you two want to link up. I love a good conspiracy. Time passes, and on another day, Maxon comes to her room with presents. I love presents. Jewelry. It is tradition for the prince to present the 4 last remaining girls with jewelry so that they can wear it to the convicting. He gives her earrings and a bracelet. Really, like small, humble, dainty, cheap stuff. And she still tries to not take it, saying, oh my god, no, Maxon, this is too much. Oh, good god. Why is humbleness such a sought-after character trait in books? I like pretty things. Stop being so humble. Maxon chose the jewelry to match each one of their personalities. And all the other girls got necklaces, but America got a bracelet because he knows she likes to wear her father's bird necklace. But because her bracelet was so much cheaper than the other jewelry the girls got, he gives her a check to send the difference to her family since their payments have stopped. She's so happy and thankful. You know, I think her family has gotten enough money over the months. I think that money should go straight to my vacation home in Hawaii fund. By the way, they are currently doing this little dance where they each try to make the other say I love you to each other first. So there are a lot of pauses and stuff, and I applaud America. Don't say it. You're giving away your power. Or, hold on, do say it. I forget that he would marry us and that I still want that if she says it. So, the convicting. The convicting is a ceremony where the girls show that they submit themselves to the law or something. Each one of them will be presented in a ceremony on TV with a criminal and their sentence, and then they will convict them. America is really concerned about this because the ones that are going to present it are thieves, and she doesn't really think that theft is a crime all the time, especially when people are very poor. But the queen puts it close to her heart that America just has to do this because she gives off the impression that she runs wild. So America is really concerned and conflicted about the whole thing. When is she not concerned and conflicted about things? The convicting happens, and for dramatic effect, America goes last. And when her criminal comes up, it's a man who stole clothes for his daughters. And when she asks him what his sentence is, he says, life. And America is shocked because it's the longest sentence of the day. And in that moment, she understands that this moment is more about the king testing her if she will submit to him. The king forgets that America's compass is pulled towards justice and freedom and the American way. So she removes her jewelry and puts it into the hand of the man. The guy goes in front of the king and gives him the jewelry of America as payment for the clothes. I'm not sure about the logistics of this. They could still put him in jail anyway. Out of the crown room, and when the cameras are off, the king storms up to her, furious, and pulls her away. The king is like, America goes home immediately. What is this? And Maxon is like, no, she is popular. The people love her. She is honest and humble. And the king is like, yo, that's wrong. Hey, let's do a new selection. All the girls suck here. Either way, you should ask yourself if that, he said, pointing to me again, is someone you could really spend your life with. Dramatic, selfish, money hungry, and to be quite honest, very plain. Full of boring thoughts of boring men, America is alone in her room when she gets a knock on the door and a visit from the squad. Ellie, Celeste, and Chris come in, checking up on her if she's okay. They have sweet bestie time. Celeste apologizes to everyone for what she did. They talk, cuddle in bed, form a true sisterhood. And it's my favorite part of the entire book, if I'm honest. But then Maxon comes and ruins it all and sends them away to talk to America. Ugh. Can anything ever not be about you, sir? He says he won't start a new selection because he likes his imperfect girls. How rude. They hug it out, and his father can't touch her now because after especially this stunt at the convicting, she is firmly settled as the people's favorite. Eyeshadow is a real pain to do on camera. The next day, after some bestie spa time with the girls, the king sends for her. She goes to his study and Maxon is also there. The Italians have sent a letter. They have been invited to Italy, but under the sneaky condition that they hope that Lady America will join the royal family on their trip. AKA, we hope that Maxon chooses America. The king is mad and confused and is like, but you're poor and ugly, why do the Italians like you so much? And Maxon is like, no, America's really great, no wonder the Italians love her. When the king asks if Maxon wants to end the selection here and there, Maxon says no. King says America is untrustworthy and suggests that America shows herself trustworthy by appearing in public service announcements, aka propaganda commercials to the lower castes, telling them that they should be happy with the miserable life they are leading and not want to move up or not rise up against the king. And America's like, I can't do that, that's wrong. America leaves. Maxon runs after her. What the hell was that, he demanded. He's insane. I was on the verge of tears, but I held them in. Not him, you. Why didn't you agree to do it? It's a trick, Maxon. Everything you're doing is a trick. If you had said yes, I would have ended this now. Incredulous, I fired back. 2 seconds later, before you had the chance to end it and didn't. How is this my fault? Because, he answered, his whole demeanor urgent. You are denying me your love. It's the only thing I've wanted in this entire competition, and you still hold back. I kept waiting for you to say it, and you won't. If you couldn't say it out loud in front of him, fine. But if you had simply agreed, that would have been good enough for me. And why would I, when for as far as we've come, he could still push me out, while I'm humiliated over and over again, and you stand by? That's not love, Maxon. You don't even know what love is. As I was about to hit the stairwell, I was whipped back again. Maxon held me tightly, both of his hands gripping my arms. America, stop. I'm not him, all right? I don't know what you mean. I know that you spent years pouring yourself into another person who you thought was going to love you forever, and when he was faced with the realities of the world, he abandoned you. I'm not him, America. I have no intentions of giving up on you. I shook my head. You can't see it, Maxon. He might have let me down, but at least I knew him. After all this time, I still feel like there's a gap between us. The selection has forced you to hand over your affection in slices. I'll never really have all of you. None of us will. When I shrugged myself free this time, he didn't fight me. Straight people. The king has given her an ultimatum to choose whether she wants to do the ads or not. And she struggles with her decision when one December afternoon, Maxon comes knocking to apologize. He ends up showing her his room to show her a part of him and give her a piece of his life. Whatever. There's his hunting gear. He apparently loves to hunt. I don't trust rich people that like to go hunting. You know, if you need it for food or if it's like a traditional thing, then sure. But rich people that hunt out of boredom, just like murder for fun? What did that bunny or doe ever do to you to get shot? Say it, America, please. Tell me you love me, that you want to be mine alone. I can't be yours alone with all the other girls here. And I can't send him home until I'm sure of your feelings. And I can't give you what you want while I know that tomorrow you could be doing this with Chris. A devilish smirk came to his face. He moved his lips to my ear. I can think of a few other ways to show you how you make me feel, he whispered. I want you, America, he murmured into my ear. I want you to be mine alone, and I want to give you everything. I want to give you things you didn't know you wanted. I want so desperately too. A loud knock came at the door. It's a guard looking for America. Her father died of a heart attack. Tends to kill the mood. America is excused for the palace for 4 days to return home to go to her father's funeral and spend time with her family. Aspen comes with her to guard her, and along with some more guards and Lucy, one of her mates. If you think about it, this sort of had to happen. I mean, I was confused that as the main character of an early 2010 YA sort of dystopia teen series, she even had 2 parents. It freaked me out a bit that she had 2 parents who loved her dearly. Young adult books are an exclusive club, and you can't enter until you haven't lost at least one parent to death or evil. Funeral happens. Back in her house, her mom gives each one of the siblings a letter because his dad knew of his heart conditions, and a couple of years earlier he wrote them all letters for when he passes. America notices that her letter seems to have been opened quite recently and taped back up. And inside America's envelope are 2 letters. There's one long letter that is like, "You go your way, kitten, and I love you." And then there's a second letter. "America, I'm sorry when we visited I went to your room and I found Elia's diary. You didn't tell me it was there, I just figured it out. If there is any trouble from this, the blame is mine, and I'm sure there will be repercussions because of who I am and because of who I told. I hate to betray you that way, but trust that I did it hoping that your future and everyone else's could be better. Look under the North Star, your everlasting guide. Let truth, honor, all that's right be always by your side. Love you, Dad." She notices that he always signs his O's in a weird star shape, and that is the symbol of the Northern Rebels. Her dad has been a secret Northern rebel all along. While everyone seems touched by their letters, her older brother Coda, who is described as a general asshole who became a famous sculptor, and when he became rich left their family alone, high and dry and in poverty, gets really mad at his letter because his dad left him the raggedy old house. And America picks a fight with him. She calls him an ungrateful little shit, but he counters with, "Well, look who's talking, you little hoe. You and Aspen used to be together." I don't know how he knows, but he just knows. So her entire family finds out she used to date Aspen. But America takes it in stride and calls Coda a little bitch. "And how dare you try to blackmail me, you greedy pig? Don't you even think about going to Maxon with that, or I'm going to have you publicly flogged." Then she leaves. Queen shit. She spends the rest of the day hiding in her room. She decides to tell Maxon about Aspen when she returns back to the palace. Bad move if you ask me. Talking is silver, silence is gold. What he doesn't know won't stir him. Her sister Kenna comes in to talk. They talk about Aspen and about Maxon, how she feels like she can't let Aspen go because he's like a security blanket to her if Maxon ends up choosing Chris. They're disturbed by Lucy knocking, saying that Maxon has ordered them home a day early, and they leave on the plane. And on the plane, Aspen tries to come to America and tries to talk. "You know I always love you, but America doesn't want to talk about it," and she cuts him off and says, "Please not today, I don't want to talk about this. Give me some space." In the palace, she is told to go to the women's room. And to her surprise, all the 32 selection girls are there celebrating. Because last night, when America was gone, Maxon dismissed Celeste and Elise. Only America and Chris are still left standing, and tomorrow he will choose his wife. They're all very happy and celebrating and drinking champagne when America notices Chris's necklace, a star necklace, a Northern Rebel star necklace. And so she pulls Chris outside and is like, "Bitch, you're a rebel." First, I was completely dedicated to my cause. I didn't understand Maxon, and it didn't seem like he wanted me at all. But then I got to know him, and I was really sad about him not taking any interest in me. After Marley left and you lost your hold on him, I saw him in a totally new light. You might think that my motives for coming here were wrong, and maybe you're right, but my reasons for being here now are completely different. I love Maxon. I'm still fighting for him, and we can do great things together. So if you're thinking about trying to blackmail me or sell me out, forget it. I'm not backing down. Do you understand me? So Chris has been a rebel the entire time, which begs the question, why is this book about America in the first place? America isn't a rebel. America has nothing to offer. America is a girl just kind of thrown in there. What does she offer as a protagonist when the story could have been Chris, rebel, goes into the palace undercover, tries to spy for her cause and has at first no interest in the prince, but then realizes he is a good and kind person. At first she sees the prince as a means to an end, but then unexpectedly the rebel falls in love with the prince. Why isn't that the book? America, having ruined her own mood, goes back to her room, where Maxon appears at the door with some Christmas presents, a little package and an envelope. She opens the package and finds a picture of a lovely yellow house. Strap in, children. It's beautiful, I admitted. Did you take it yourself? The picture isn't the gift, the house is. What? I thought you want your family close by. It's a short drive away with plenty of room. Your sister and her little family would even be comfortable in there, I think. What? It's me? Of course it's you. I was speechless. I laughed in shock and started giving him kisses and giggling between each one. We're getting married, I yelled. Yes, we're getting married. After a while, the smiling dwindled. The kisses turned from playful to something much deeper. When I pulled away and looked into his eyes, they were intense and focused. Maxon held me close and I could feel his heart racing against my chest. Guided by a deep hunger for him, I pushed his suit coat down his back and he helped me as best he could while holding on to me. You're breaking a lot of rules, Miss Singer. You're the prince. You can just pardon me. He chuckled darkly. I was going crazy, wanting so much more of him, aching to know if he'd let me have it. Without even thinking, I reached around and dug my fingers into his back. Immediately he stopped kissing me, pulling back to look at me. What? I whispered. Does it repulse you? He asked nervously. What do you mean? My back. I ran a hand down his cheek, staring directly into his eyes. Maxon, some of those marks are on your back so they wouldn't be on mine, and I love you for them. He stopped breathing for a second. What did you say? I smiled. I love you. And I love you, America Singer, with all that I am. I love you. He rips off her dress. Max and I were kneeling on my bed, my hardly covered chest pressed to his, kissing slowly. I wanted to stay up all night with him to explore this new feeling we discovered. It felt as if everything else in the world was gone until we heard a crash in the hall. I can't, America, not like this. But it's okay, Maxon. We're safe here. I want to let all the walls down with you. You deserve that, and I can't now. He looked over to me. I'm sorry. It's okay. Don't be sad. I want to take you on a proper honeymoon, someplace warm and private. No duties, no cameras, no guards. He wrapped his arms around me. It will be so much better that way, and I can really spoil you. You can't spoil me, Maxon. I don't want anything. Oh, I know. I don't intend on giving you things. Well, he amended. I do intend on giving you things, but that's not what I mean. I'm going to love you more than any man has ever loved a woman. More than you ever dreamed you could be loved, I promise you that. He said, ma'am, you're a 5-star Michelin buffet and I intend to eat out all night. They do not have relations that night because they are good Christians, but they sleep together in one bed and cuddle all night. When they awake the next morning, Maxon tickles her, and hearing the squeal, one of the guards comes running in thinking there's a problem. The guard being Aspen, them being half naked, of course. Maxon leaves. They have to get ready for the engagement stuff. Just when the happy ending is in sight, now it's time for drama. She goes outside trying to talk to Aspen, you know, finally let him go because she is about to be engaged. It's not as if I didn't know it was coming. It was just a shock. He shook his head. I should have told you, I said, stepping into the hall. It doesn't matter. I just can't believe you slept with him. I didn't, Aspen, I swear. I put my hands on his chest. I didn't, Aspen, I swear. You little slut shamer. And then at the last possible moment, everything was ruined. Maxon stepped around the corner holding Chris by the hand. His eyes locked onto me, body pressed into Aspen. I backed away, but not quickly enough. Aspen turned to face Maxon, prepared to give an excuse, but still too stunned to speak. Chris's mouth dropped open and she quickly covered it with a hand. Looking into Maxon's shocked eyes, I shook my head, trying to explain without words that it was all a misunderstanding. I found Chris in the hall and was coming to explain my choice to you both before the camera shut up. But it seems we have other things to discuss. I knew it, he said. I told myself I was crazy because surely you would have told me if I was right. You were supposed to be honest with me, he rolled his eyes. I cannot believe I didn't trust myself from the first meeting. I knew it, the way you looked at him, how distracted you were, that damn bracelet you wore, the note on the wall, all those times when I thought I had you and then suddenly lost you again. It was you, he said, turning to Aspen. What's your name? Your first name? Aspen. Aspen Ledger, he said, testing the words. Get out of my sight before I send you to New Asia to die. Your Majesty, Go! Aspen looked at me once, then turned and walked away. I stood there silent and still afraid to risk a peek into Maxon's eyes. When I finally did, he nudged his chin towards my room and I went in with him following me. Maxon, I'm so sorry. At first I was protecting him and then I was protecting myself. And after Marley was canned, I was afraid to tell you the truth. I couldn't lose you. I pleaded. Lose me? Lose me, he asked, astonished. You're going home with a small fortune, a new cast, and a man who is still pursuing you. I'm the one losing here today, America. I'm going home? How many times am I supposed to let you break my heart, America? Do you think I'd honestly marry you, make you my princess, when you've been lying to me for most of our relationship? I refuse to torture myself for the rest of my life. You might have noticed I got plenty of that already. Maxon, please, I'm so sorry. It's not what it looked like. I swear I love you. Of all the lies you've told me, that's the one I resent the most. It's not. Have your maids do your best. You should go out in style. He walked past me out of the doorway and out of the future I'd held in my hands only a few minutes before. I turned back to the room holding my stomach as if the core of my body was about to crack from the pain. I looked to the clock to see how much time I had and saw the thick envelope Maxon had given me last night. Maxon seems like a theater kid to me, so I tried to do him justice. She reads the letter. I wish I was as true as an artist as you so that I could find a way to tell you what you've become to me, America. My love, you are sunlight falling through trees. You are laughter that breaks through sadness. You are the breeze on a too warm day. You are clarity in the midst of confusion. You are not the world, but you are everything that makes the world good. Without you, my life would still exist, but that's all it would manage to do. You said that to get things right, one of us would have to take a leap of faith. I think I've discovered the canyon that must be leaped, and I hope to find you waiting for me on the other side. I love you, America. Yours forever, Maxon. It's all romantic stuff. It's several pages long. It's boring, you know. He loves her. Let's move on. We are now in the great room. Chris and America sitting on either one of Maxon's side. The TV cameras are rolling. His parents are there. The decision is supposed to be made. Aspen is also in the room, still guarding. And when America looks at him, Maxon says this to her. Trying to arrange a time to meet later? No, of course not. It's not like it matters. Chris's family will be here this afternoon for a small celebration and yours will be here to take you home. They don't like for the last loser to be alone. She tends to get dramatic. He was so cold, so distant. It was as if it wasn't even Max at all. You can keep that house if you want. It's been paid for. I like my letters back though. I read them, I whispered. I loved them. Don't know what I was thinking. Please don't do this. Please, I love you. Don't you dare! You put on a smile and you wear it to the last second. That'll do. Don't let that slip until you leave the room. Do you understand? I'll be glad when you're gone. What a little psycho. You know, maybe there are more important things than money. And we forget that Chris earnestly loves him. And if he chooses her right now, she will know for eternity that the man she loves settled for her because the woman he actually loved betrayed him. Good God. But don't fret. It's not over, because there is a universal truth in the selection universe that says that whenever Max and America are on the outs and you think you can't fix it, the rebels will attack to show them what's truly important in life. The guards all of a sudden whip out red cloth and tie it to their head. They are not guards at all. They are southern rebels invading the palace. And one goes straight up to Celeste and puts a bullet straight through the back of her head. Don't kill her. She had so much more girl bossing to do. Chaos erupts. America freezes in shock. A rebel points a gun at Max and smiles and then points it at America. He pulls the trigger, but just in that moment, Maxon jumps in between her and the bullet. The room is a frenzy. She crawls towards Maxon, who is lying on the floor, as the screaming slowly dies down. "Oh, Maxon," I cried. "I'm so sorry." "No, I'm sorry," he said. "I was up to ruin both our lives. Don't talk right now. Just focus, okay? Look at me, America. Break my heart. Break it 1,000 times if you like. It was only ever yours to break anyway." "Shh," I urged him. "I love you until my very last breath. Every beat of my heart is yours. I don't want to die without you knowing that." "Please don't," I choked. "Don't give up, Max. I love you. Please don't give up." He took an unsteady breath. Only 4 pages ago, he told her that he was glad when she will leave. Girl, I got whiplash so hard I almost started playing the drums. Maxon is such a dramatic little shit. Aspen comes and Maxon tells her to keep her safe, gives her a gun, and they run through the halls until they reach a safe room and Aspen shoves her in there. So, finally, after 3 books, the ultimate drama and bloodshed happens, and America is sitting in a safe room. How does Miss Kiera Cass want to convince me that America is different and not like the other girls if she doesn't casually cap 12 trained rebels at once? This is a terrible climax. She tries to open the door again by shooting at it because she wants to help, but then she fails and then she cries. And then sometimes later, August Aaliyah opens the door. The Northern rebels are here and they've won and we've beaten the evil Southerners. She asks about Maxon, but then she faints because just like Maxon, she is a dramatic little shit herself. We really need to wrap up here. Okay, so I'm gonna try to speed through this now. She wakes up later in the hospital wing. Everyone is wounded, can't find Maxon, and a guard says he's not in the medical wing. But she decides he probably died. I didn't break into a scream, though it felt as if something similar was happening inside. I just let the tears fall. They didn't wash anything away, but they felt like a promise. Nothing will ever replace you, Maxon, and I seal our love away. I found it a little amusing. I applaud her effectiveness in grieving. She hears Aspen's voice, turns around. The guy lost a leg. Sad. Now is as good a time as any to have a talk. He says, "Hey babe, we've changed. Let's just be friends. I don't love you anymore." I don't know when this happened, but this book is not about Aspen, so ugh. Oh, and he's also in love with her maid Lucy. How rude. How rude, honestly. So you're not going to live out the rest of your life pining after me, wishing you had me, protecting me with your life? How rude. Aspen also mentions that Maxon is not dead. He is also not the prince anymore. Both the king and the queen croaked during the attack. Maxon is King Maxon now. She goes to Maxon's room where she finds him signing documents. He is wounded and he has been expecting her. Everyone leaves the room. He shows her some papers. Maxon will dissolve the caste system. And then he slides over her box. Her engagement ring. And I don't know how to say this without bursting into tears. But after everything I've been through, he doesn't give her a diamond. Oh, know he's trying to marry us with a purple and green ring? Because that's their birthstones or whatever. What the fuck, Maxon? Miss me with that. Okay, miss me with that. How dare you? I gave up my morality, my integrity, and I threw everything I had behind you, even though I have better judgment, and you didn't even give her a diamond. I am revolted. I am disgusted. I spent my entire life dedicated to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and this is what I get? I love you, he said simply. I should have told you a long time ago. Maybe we could have avoided so many stupid mistakes if I had, and then again, sometimes I think it was all those obstacles that made me love you so deeply. What I said was true. My heart is yours to break. As you already know, I'd rather die than see you in pain. In the moment I was hit, when I fell to the floor, sure my life was ending, all I could think about was you. In those seconds I was mourning everything I'd lost, how I'd never get to see you walk down an aisle towards me, how I'd never get to see your face and our children, how I'd never get to see streaks of silver in your hair, but at the same time I couldn't be bothered. If me dying meant you living, how could that be anything but good? America, I know you see a king here, but let me be clear. This isn't a command, this is a request, a plea. I beg you, make me the happiest man alive. Please do me the honor of becoming my wife. Why am I out of focus again? I couldn't get out how much I wanted this, but where my voice failed, my body succeeded. I crawled into Maxon's arms, holding to him tightly, certain that nothing could ever pull us apart. When he kissed me, I felt my life settle into place. I had found everything I'd ever wanted, things I didn't even know I was looking for, here in Maxon's arms. And if I had him to guide me, to hold me, then I could take on the world. It seemed too soon. Our kiss slowed, and Maxon pulled back to look into my eyes. I saw it in his face. I was home, and finally I found my voice. Yes. The epilogue. It is America's big wedding day. She is nervous but excited. Marley is there as her maid of honor. Aspen leads her down the aisle. The ghetto. All the girls from the selection are there. Chris too, with sadness in her eyes. Celeste does not. Celeste died during the attack. I hate it here. She showed up, she served cunt, and then she died. And you gotta pay her respect for that. It's magical, really, the power this day has. But even now, I know this isn't a fairy tale. I know that we'll have hard times, confusing times. I know that things won't always happen the way we want them to. And we'll have to work to remember that we chose this. It won't be perfect, not all the time. This isn't happily ever after. It's so much more than that. The end. There we have it. Her Majesty, America Shreve, Queen of Aaliyah, child bride. Are we forgetting she's still 17? The end. And as far as I'm concerned, the final book in the series. Because 4 and 5 are a hate crime. Why did the Southerners want to end the selection in the first way when their plan was to attack the castle during the selection engagement ceremony? What happened to the service announcements? Hold on, wouldn't that make the Southerners pro-selection? Oh my god. Look at me. Thinking about it. How utterly foolish of me. Honestly, this book just made me Team Chris. America and Maxon are both weirdos who deserve each other. Chris is sweet and smart and interesting, and what should have happened is that her and Celeste fell madly in love. I apologize to Chris and how I treated her in book 2. I had my sisterhood compromised by my greed. America, over her. Aspen, go away. Maxon, I hate when he complains about stuff. He pretends all the time like somebody's pointing a gun at him, asking him to make out with everyone. So originally, my job to myself by rereading the series and doing these videos was to determine if I have bad taste. Because I loved this series when I was 13. Do I like this series? No. Do I still kind of love it? Yeah. What is bad taste? Why do I feel the need to justify the things I liked or like to myself or the world? Because that's what I'm doing. Because even though these videos are watched by no one but me, I'm still trying to justify this as if I had an audience to do it. Why do I live my life like that? Why to justify myself to an invisible audience? Why is there such a huge stigma about the things you can and can't like in fiction? Sorry that the bell jar doesn't sound as appealing as Princess Bachelor. So do I have bad taste? Maybe. The characters are weird. Maxim sucks. Aspen sucks. Before I reread this, I still thought Maxim was one of my favorite book characters, but now he is blonde, for Christ's sake. That should have been my first strike. However, all in all, it reminded me of being 13. And I have a lot of compassion for myself at 13. She was very mean and very sad and very lonely. And I feel like she would hate me. She would hate me so much. But I like her, so I can't dismiss this book series. It probably still stands as, in the history of myself, one of my favorite dumb young adult pop literature book series. Except 4 and 5, they suck. I would read this over The Catcher in the Rye every day. All in all, I give the series a 2.5 out of 5 for mediocrity. The first one I would say is the best because Maxim talks the least. Then he starts to talk more and then it gets worse. So this series encompasses 2 more books. 4 The Heir and 5 The Crown. These 2 are about a new selection. The selection of Princess Edeline Shreve. Yes, the daughter of America and Maxim. Princess Bachelorette. Edeline is awful. The pacing is terrible. I remember in this book nothing happens and in this too much happens. That was the selection series by Kiera Cass. The story of how America secured the bag. I hope you have a good day. Remember to stay hateful, my friends. Goodbye.